All right, folks, welcome back. This is segment number 2. I'm Anthony Weeks, and this is the Marketplace Show Reset, segment number 2, where we focus on all things real estate. Welcome back. This is WSDX Bloomberg, WSDX 970 AM. We are Temple Network, but also, most important, we are our TV network. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm joined by my colleague, none other than for the Alert Factor, Nancy Alert, our extraordinaire, if you will, real estate expert. How are you doing, Nancy?
I am doing well. Thank you so much for having me.
Listen, I'm looking forward. I'm really looking forward to your show coming up, that whole 1 hour. Yes. But I'll take what I can get right now, right? I get you for a half hour, so that's great. I'm good. And so I hope your day and your week is going well. Is it productive?
It has been, yeah.
Fantastic. Well, this is a segment where we focus, if you will, on all things real estate. And so we have, obviously, the Bloomberg Real Estate Report. And, of course, this is where we get to hear from you, your comments, a reply, insight as to what the report is saying, and anything else you want to be able to expand on that. And so this program, this segment, if you will, it's a two-platform approach. It is obviously media, it is television, it's radio, it is the internet, but most important, that whatever you hear us discuss on this program is also supported by and augmented by our global real estate marketplace. And what does that mean when you say global real estate marketplace? So basically, we're providing the technology, the tool, the platform, the marketplace, where you, the viewer, you, the listener, no matter where you're watching, hearing this program on this planet, I don't care where you are on this planet, you're able, if you're in the market, and whether you are a buyer or seller, what we are doing basically is we have created this platform where the market, where you can come together, where buyers and sellers can come together and, share their information on their real estate, whether it's, residential or whether it's commercial. You get to share that information, and it costs you nothing to register on this marketplace, by the way. We give you the ability to join the marketplace, and you can register and show at least one property on the marketplace at no cost. Obviously, if you want a broader, if you will, exposure on the marketplace, then there are different levels of service and options available to you. So please take advantage of that. Again, go to www.realestatemarketplace.global. Again, that's www.realestatemarketplace.global. And the .global is deliberate because, again, we don't care what market you're in. We're able to help you, bringing you and connecting you to buyers and sellers. So, Nancy, let's talk a little bit about what we have on coming in from the Bloomberg Report, and then obviously we can continue on the discourse on any other matters as well. Is there anything you'd like to share before we get into the Bloomberg Report?
No, I can't wait to get into the report because the market is beyond hot, is beyond on fire. It's at a point where we do need some market correction, and we need some market correction sooner rather than later.
Oh, wow. All right, so let's get right into it, and then we'll continue here. All right.
Mm-hmm. This is your Bloomberg Real Estate Report. I'm Denise Pellegrini. Mortgage rates this week surged to the highest in about 3 years. And if you're trying to buy a home, you might want to lock that rate in fast because rates might be about to jump even higher as the push to fight inflation intensifies. Former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers among those telling us the Fed needs to stop keeping mortgage rates artificially low now.
Can you imagine any conceivable reason why, in the face of what is housing price inflation faster than we had in the 2006 pre-crisis period, we have the government intervening to actively buy up and reduce the yield on mortgage-backed securities? That should be ended tomorrow.
And if the Fed doesn't slam the brakes and mortgage rates don't rise much, Zillow is forecasting home prices by May could be 22% higher than a year ago. And that's your Bloomberg Real Estate Report. I'm Denise.
All right, so we heard Larry Summers, the former Treasury Secretary, and professor. I don't know if he's still uh, a professor at Harvard University,
Mm.
but he's a prominent economist, both from the public and private sector, and he's very concerned about the pace and the rate at which the Federal Reserve is trying to apply the right measure to help curb the rising rate, uh, interest rate, if you will.
Right.
And so, therefore, as we said last week, the Fed is going to. It's not a question. It's no longer a question if they're going to help.
It's when.
It's in March, and
Mhm.
and so like you said, it's when, but they are anticipating the first rate hike in March. So, and they're saying right after, they're saying there will be a number of other steps to increase interest rate as well. And so, and it is a concern because let me tell you why it's a concern before we hear from Nancy Alert on the alert factor here in the marketplace. Well, no matter what side of the table you're on, everybody's going to have a different opinion as to what caused the Great
Yes.
Recession in 2008. I remember there were two very distinct forces at play. Real estate was saying that real estate was hot is just a complete understatement. I mean, everybody and anybody that wanted real estate got real estate. People were literally biting off more than they can chew. People had primary, secondary investment. People were just literally where when you look at the level of debt
Mhm.
in support to their income, it was off the charts. I mean, people were taking on all kinds of debt, and so it created the housing bubble. And guess what? That bubble popped, the market crashed. But there was another force at play, which created the perfect storm for what happened in 2008 with the Great Recession. Energy price was through the roof. If you remember,
Mm.
energy prices, oil was going at least $100 a barrel.
Mm.
Okay, oil prices were at a minimum of $100 a barrel, and it was literally gunning for $150 a barrel.
Yes.
So you had
Right.
this insatiable appetite for consumer to get on the bandwagon and the frenzy of buying real estate. And then you had now couple that with the cost of energy was just ridiculous.
Right. Right.
What I'm seeing and what I'm concerned with, I'm seeing a repeat of how hot the market is in terms of real estate, but now inflation is now raising its ugly head, and it's not a question at this point with now Russia invading Ukraine, okay, and Russia being one of the major oil producers. Oil prices are going to go through the roof. So you have, once again, you have that perfect storm of housing, real estate, and then energy price. That I am concerned with, and that's what we got to look at. Nancy, I'm sorry. I just really I need to get off my soapbox, if you will, and I would be remiss if I didn't say that. But what do you have to say about the Bloomberg report?
So, notwithstanding everything you just stated, which is true, what we have to look at is if the feds do not raise interest rates, we are going to have an issue with the market, with the economy. Right now, the way the real estate market is moving, for example, I just wrote an offer on a property that was listed for $895. My client went in $105,000 above the list price. The person that got it paid $250,000 plus above the list price. No
Wow.
contingencies to get the property.
Wow.
The problem with that, yes, just let that sit with you for a second. $250,000 plus. So I don't know where it landed, but I knew it was over $250,000 above the list price, which was $895. The interest rates rising right now will be a great stabilizer, and it will help the economy because right now it's not only investors that in the market, investors are being bid out. These are owner occupants that are trying to purchase a property. These are not people with a whole lot of money, but I guess you have to have a whole lot of money right now in order to purchase, which means that you're still keeping the middle America out of purchasing a property. And when you do that, then we have an economy issue because middle America is not being able to spend their dollars. It's a problem, and raising the interest rate will stabilize the market, and then everyone will be able to come in because no one is going to be paying $250,000 above list price if the interest rate is 6% or 5% or what have you.
And I think that we need to go to a break. And but before we go to break, because you have an inverse relationship here, right? Not adverse, inverse.
Right.
So either we're in a buyer's market or
Mhm.
seller's market. Okay,
Mhm.
you can't have it both, right?
Right.
So when you have a buyer's market, the sellers are at the
Suffering.
disadvantage. When you're in a seller's market, the buyers are at a disadvantage, right? So
Yeah.
it's that.
But usually not
physical-
at this level. This is a level of great disparity. I mean, a seller's market is okay, but a seller's market where you already have an exaggerated price, right? Where 2 years ago you would not have gotten $895 for that property, but now you're getting $1.2 million for it. That's where the problem is. It's not, we need sellers and buyers market to equalize everything, right? But we don't need a seller's market where because the interest rate is so low, people are thinking that, we're going to go 300,000 above list price. And then we have a problem in the future, meaning that the values are no longer there. So if you're trying to refinance or you're trying to sell your property, you can't get that 1.2 that you paid for.
Hold that thought. So because that is an important part, because what we talked about last week was the inventory issue.
Mm.
The scarcity of inventory, the scarcity of, not having enough inventory to support the demand, right?
Right.
The demand is literally just on steroids, right? It's outpacing, and you see a situation where it's not only the buying and selling of real estate. They're saying the renters market is out of control.
It is. It is
Totally
out of control.
You can't find an affordable unit for yourself and your family because the demand is so high and there isn't enough inventory. That what renters are finding as well, just like buyers and sellers, that you have a disparity in an equity of
So the
what you're
sellers
going
and
to
the
pay,
landlords.
what you're going to pay to rent. You know what I mean?
You have the sellers and the landlords right now that are really on top, because my client literally had to pay $100 over the rental asking price in order to get it because there were 6 other renters for the same property.
Fantastic. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll come up with the other 2 reports here on the marketplace real estate segment. This is the Alert Factor with host contributor Nancy Alert. I'm Anthony Weeks. We'll be right back.
This is your Bloomberg Real Estate Report. I'm Denise Pellegrini. Watch for certain industrial real estate, especially warehouse space and other supply chain real estate, to stay hot this year. Mike Longo is Vice President at CBRE Capital Markets.
The physical real estate is just not set up to handle that. And so it puts a massive pressure on pricing and values, as there are just so many limited sites for to put a single story warehouse on it, and it just continues to shift out.
And Longo also says this is especially true in coastal metros, especially in Los Angeles.
Industrial real estate really follows all the way down to the Mexican border and goes inland into the desert. So it's a supply constrained market to an extent, but we are the major input for the rest of the United States if you're coming if you're coming off of a boat.
And that's your Bloomberg Real Estate Report. I'm Denise Pellegrini.
All right, welcome back, folks. This is Anthony Weeks and Nancy Alert. This is segment number 2 on the Marketplace Show Reset. This is our real estate segment, brought to you by our real estate marketplace. And check us out at www.realestatemarketplace.global to be able to list your property. You can register and sign up for free, and you're able to list at least one property at no cost on the marketplace. So welcome back, Nancy. And so clearly the second report spoke about the commercial side of things, right?
Yes.
Warehousing, right?
Right.
There is a demand, right? And so people are out there looking. There's a need. Again, we go back to the supply chain, right?
Right.
Supply chain is just another fancy word for inventory, right? Or inventory within the supply chain, right? Where you have a marketplace and how that marketplace kind of flow, if you will, right?
Right.
And so we're seeing the same, where there's an appetite for more warehousing in the commercial space, and how that is performing. What do you say to that?
So in the commercial space and the residential space, so commercial space right now is you're going to have a lot of development, a lot of building, but not for companies that have huge square footages, right? It's for them to have small office space. So they're doing virtual situation because we're still going to be 85% plus at home working. So we're not going to need all of that real estate, which it's going to be a positive because they're going to be able to chop up all those different spaces for more companies to utilize them, as opposed to just 2 companies in an entire building.
Got you. So let's make it. Let's look at the parochial lens, if you will. Parochial means the local market. So obviously, you're in the DMV, the Washington D.C., Maryland, Virginia market, right? And wherever else you're licensed as a realtor, a broker to sell real estate, buy and sell real estate. And I'm in the Virgin Islands. What are you seeing? And I can't speak about the real estate marketplace locally because I'm not a realtor. So we would need to invite some local real estate folks on the show to talk about that.
Right.
But based on what we discussed earlier on the rising of interest rate, and the lack of inventory in terms of residential, and now we talk about demand for warehouse. Now, warehousing is very different than office building, right? You talk about people not working, people are working remotely,
right?
But in order to, when you have warehousing means distribution,
right?
It means manufacturing and distribution. So you can't work remotely. You
can't. You have to
you
be in those spaces.
You got to go to work in order to be able to move the product from the storage warehouse to get the product to market. And obviously, if you're manufacturing, you need the people on the assembly plant, to manufacture the goods. So what is that market looking like in the DMV in terms of
warehousing,
commercial? But they talk about warehousing.
So the big boom was when Amazon announced that they were coming to the DC metro area.
Yep.
So we have warehouses in Crystal City, in Arlington, in Prince George's County, and some in DC and some in Virginia. So we do have a number of warehousing, and a number of companies are looking right now because they're stocking products. So they need to have a place to put those products. They don't necessarily need a lot of office space, but they do need the warehouses to house their products so that they can get it to the community. We do have a rise in companies looking for warehouses in the DC metro area. We definitely have that going on right now. Are they going to be building more warehouses? Probably so, because a lot of people are now purchasing land so that they can build those warehouses in the industrial areas to provide for their products and services.
So you're seeing a bullish market, all right? Because obviously there is an uptick when we say bullish, and bearish means there's a downtick in the market. And so you're saying that because of Amazon is now where are they, in Virginia?
No, so they're in Virginia, they're in Maryland, and I do believe they have a location in DC as well.
So are you saying they set up facility in all three states, all three jurisdictions?
Yeah. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
I thought when New York City lost out to the DMV, I thought it was just one major facility, mega facility that Amazon was going to set up. But you're saying they literally spread out across three jurisdictions.
So keep in mind, they wanted to be in Arlington, which is right across the river from DC. However, land, right? We talk about scarcity. You can't build more land. You have what you have. So the space that they had in Arlington, Virginia, in Crystal City, Virginia, they would need additional space. So they have Crystal City, they have Prince George's County, and I do believe there's a space in DC as well.
Okay, good. All right, so let's play the last report, because obviously we've come to the end of this segment. Coming up next is on the marketplace segment number 3, the Coaxum Report. Our colleague out of New York City in the New York tri-state area, Terry Coaxum. She focuses on all things business, public policy, and the economy as well. And so let's play the last report, and then we'll wrap up and we'll talk next week.
This is your Bloomberg Real Estate Report. I'm Denise Pellegrini. Mortgage rates are going up, and that's making it harder and harder to get your hands on a home.
You have the home price increase coupled with this mortgage rate increase.
But Glenn Kelman, CEO at Redfin, says that doesn't mean people will stop buying.
You just have to remember that so many of them are moving from California to Ohio. And so the Ohio home is going to look cheap no matter how much interest rates go up.
And Kelman also had this message about the housing market now that the remote work genie is out of the bottle.
I don't think that trend is reversing. I do believe that suburbs are the future. America is diversifying in the suburbs. People want that space, and they don't seem willing to go back. Once you get a yard and a 3-car garage, you're never going to move into a condo again.
And the number of people looking for far-flung bargains may be about to explode. Mortgage rates on a 30-year fixed have surged to 4%, a little bit lower for a 15-year fixed, little over 3%. And that's your Bloomberg Real Estate Report. I'm Denise Pellegrini. This is your
Nancy, all I can say is wow. So it now goes to say it's going against the grain that because of the current environment we're in, because of the pandemic, where more people are working remotely, working from home, and they're finding out that they rather work at home and not in the office. But the problem is they don't have enough space.
Exactly.
So even if mortgage rates go up and the price of housing go up, people are looking to be able to retool that environment where they can work from home and have greater space. That's crazy. And so that kind of says from the West Coast to the East Coast, this trend is not, even if interest rate rises, it's not going to change it.
It's not going to change because the stay at home, the work from home is still going to be 85 to 90%, right? And what people have found is This is why there's so much movement in the real estate market. Yeah, we prefer to work from home, but we can't work from home in a 2-bedroom or a 1-bedroom condo. We can't do that. We need that space. We need to keep our spouse or significant other, the children away. We need to have an office. And that's why the suburbs are becoming sexier now than it ever have been. The last couple of years, it was everybody moving to the city. Everybody wanted to be in the city. Now, everybody's moving to the suburbs because you can get a larger home. You can get a bigger home. You can get that office. You can get the rec room. You can get the backyard. And once you have a 2-car garage, you are not moving back to a 1-bedroom condo. You're not.
All right. Great job, Nancy. Great job. That was Nancy Alert, our contributor, and she is the alert factor here on our real estate segment of the marketplace. Nancy, until next week, stay safe.
You too.
All right.